Mike Trout actually signed a huge extension in the MLB. He actually has 2 years left on his contract with the Los Angeles Angels, and he just re-upped, signed a huge mega extension with the Angels, 12 years, $430 million. So he's signed for one less year than Bryce Harper is with the Phillies, but he's going to make $100 million more dollars. And it's the same thing as Bryce Harper's contract. There is no opt-out clause, no trade clause. So he is locked in for the rest of his career. He's locked in until his 39th birthday, until after his 39th birthday. And talk about a hometown discount. I mean, that is a huge chunk of change. That is the most lucrative deal in MLB history. Just, that's crazy. And I get that Mike Trout loves the LA Angels and he loves being there, but this team went 80-82 last season. It's not exactly a team that's competing for the playoffs, sitting just below 500. So from a winning perspective, this deal doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm sure he can find a way out of it via trade if he really wanted to down the line. This is why some of these deals with the no opt-outs really don't make sense to me, because most players, especially star players, they want to opt out after 4 or 5 seasons to be eligible for another deal and another big extension, and maybe go to a different team if they want to. But a no opt-out means you're locked in for 12 years and you can't get out of it. The only way you can get out is via trade. And that would be pretty tough to do with a contract of Mike Trout's size, and obviously as the years go by he gets older. But locked in for 12 years, $430 million. This is obviously about keeping the Angels relevant. Certainly, I mean, with Mike Trout, he's the best player in baseball, the best player of his generation, and you could argue one of the best players of all time. And then it's really good for a marketing perspective as well, because it keeps the Angels relevant and it keeps people filling up the seats. It's very similar to that Padres and Manny Machado deal. That was strictly to just get people filling up the seats, because the San Diego Padres kind of take a back seat to the LA Angels and the LA Dodgers. So, and especially the LA Dodgers. So signing a high-profile player like a Manny Machado is going to fill seats. Similarly with this Mike Trout deal, it's going to keep butts in seats, and it's going to keep butts in seats for the next 12 years, assuming he lives out the rest of this deal. Had 2 years left on his contract, and he's going to be adding over a decade onto that. Absolutely nuts, insane deal. And I mentioned that this is the most lucrative deal in MLB history. It's obviously the most lucrative in the sport today. And if you're looking at the biggest contracts for athletes across all 4 major sports, Mike Trout with the LA Angels is making $430 million. In the NBA, Russell Westbrook with the Oklahoma City Thunder is making $207 million over the course of his deal. Matt Ryan in the NFL he's got the biggest contract with the Atlanta Falcons, $150 million. And then in the NHL, Alex Ovechkin is making $124 million with the Washington Capitals. So it seems like we've had a huge jump in cap, especially with collective bargaining agreements becoming more and more lenient with money. Just a huge rise in cap for all the major sports. Obviously, the MLB does not have a cap ceiling. There is no cap. in the MLB. It's just as much money as the owner is willing to pay and as much money as the owner has. So obviously that is irrelevant to the MLB, but as far as the other sports, you're just seeing a major rise in cap for each team in the salary cap, and as a result, players are allowed to be paid more lucrative deals. But this deal with Mike Trout is obviously going to keep fans in the seats. The LA Angels are still going to be as relevant as pretty much any team in the MLB when you have the best player in the league. They're going to need more pieces, though, to put together a World Series contender. They were 80 and 82 last season. But keeping him around long term might entice some other free agents. It kind of puts a wrench in Bryce Harper's plan. He was hoping to recruit Mike Trout when his contract was up to Philadelphia, but that's clearly not going to happen now. But just what an insane deal for Mike Trout. And it's great for the LA Angels because they can stay relevant.